Commander Jack Miller stood on the bridge of the U.S. Defender, his eyes fixed on the view screen. The ship had just emerged from its fifth faster-than-light jump since leaving Earth 2 weeks ago. Humanity had only mastered FTL travel 3 years earlier, and the Defender was among the first wave of exploration vessels. "Commander, we're picking up unusual energy readings," said Officer Susan Roy, her voice steady despite the tension. "Looks like weapons fire, sir." Miller frowned. They hadn't expected to find other intelligent lives so soon, let alone witness combat. "Distance. Just under 1 light minute, sir. The readings match nothing in our database. Take us closer, but stay alert. Shields up." The Defender moved cautiously toward the energy signatures. As they approached, the crew fell silent. On the view screen, 2 vessels appeared. One was sleek and silver, clearly damaged with several breaches in its hull. The other was dark, almost invisible against the backdrop of space, with odd angles that hurt the eyes to look at. "The dark ship is firing again," Officer Roy reported. "The silver vessel's shields are failing." Miller didn't hesitate. "Position us between them. Hail the silver ship." "Sir," questioned his first officer, Paul Grant, "we don't know who they are or what this conflict is about." "I know, but I'm not going to watch a slaughter if we can prevent it." The Defender moved into position, its human-made shields absorbing a blast meant for the silver ship. "We're being hailed by the silver vessel," called out Communications Officer Diane Watson. "On screen," Miller ordered. The view screen flickered, revealing a humanoid figure with pale blue skin and large almond-shaped eyes. It spoke, the words unintelligible, until the ship's computer began translating. "Gratitude for your intervention. We are Zentari. The attacking vessel belongs to the Void Reapers. They hunt all sentient life." Before Miller could respond, the dark ship fired again, this time directly at the Defender. The ship shuddered. "Shields at 82%, reported Officer Roy. "Their weapons are unlike anything we've encountered." Miller made a quick decision. "Target their weapons systems and fire." The Defender's lasers struck with precision. The dark ship seemed surprised by the counterattack and retreated, jumping to FTL speeds and disappearing. Ambassador Ella Davis joined Miller on the bridge as they helped the damaged Zentari vessel. "Commander, this is an unprecedented first contact situation," Davis said. "We need to proceed carefully." The Zentari ship docked with the Defender. Miller and Davis met the aliens in the airlock. There were 3 of them, all with the same blue skin and large eyes. "I am Neelan," said the tallest one. "You have saved our lives. The Void Reapers have hunted our kind for centuries. I'm Commander Jack Miller of Earth, and this is Ambassador Ella Davis. We're new to interstellar travel." Neelan looked surprised. "You engaged the Reapers without knowing what they were." "No species does this. We couldn't stand by and watch," Miller said simply. Davis stepped forward. "We'd like to learn more about your people and these Void Reapers." Neelan exchanged glances with the others. "There is a galactic community of peaceful species. The Reapers threaten us all. None have the will or capability to fight them effectively." "Until now," one of the others Zentari added, looking at Miller with an expression that might have been hope. Over the next days, the Zentari shared information about the galaxy while their ship was repaired. Earth's government debated whether to get involved in an interstellar conflict they hadn't known existed a week ago. The decision was made for them when sensors detected 3 Void Reaper scout ships approaching the Sol system. Miller stood on the bridge again, watching the reports come in. "Send word to Earth. Tell them we're about to have visitors, and they're not friendly." The Defender turned toward home, carrying news that would forever change humanity's place in the galaxy. 5 years passed since humanity's first contact with the Zentari. Earth had formed alliances with 7 alien species, all united by the common threat of the Void Reapers. The warning brought back by the U.S. Defender had changed everything. Admiral Frank Carter stood at the window of the space station orbiting Mars. Below him, the shipyard stretched for miles, building vessels that combined human and alien technology. "Admiral, Lieutenant Wilson is here to see you," said his assistant. Kate Wilson walked in with a tablet in her hand. She was young for her rank, but her tactical mind had earned her quick promotions. "Lieutenant, what brings you here?" Carter asked. "Sir, I've been studying Void Reaper attack patterns," Wilson said. "They always expect their enemies to form defensive walls. No one ever attacks them first." Carter nodded. "Because most species in the Alliance fear conflict." "Exactly. But humans don't think that way." Wilson showed him battle simulations on her tablet. "What if we strike first? Hit them where they don't expect it." Carter studied her proposal. It went against everything the alien allies suggested, but it made sense from a human perspective. "Bring this to the Joint Command meeting tomorrow," he said. The next day, on another part of the station, Dr. Alan Reeves led a team of scientists examining a piece of Void Reaper technology. "The power source is unlike anything we've seen," he told his assistant, John Bell. "But I think we can adapt it to our shield systems." "The aliens say it's too dangerous," Bell replied. Reeves smiled. "Since when has that stopped humans?" 3 months later, the U.S. Bulwark launched from the Mars shipyard. It was the first true human battleship, twice the size of any previous vessel. Its hull combined Earth steel with alien alloys. Its weapons mixed human missiles with Centauri energy beams. But its heart was pure human innovation. Captain Joe Green walked the bridge of his new ship with pride. "All systems ready, Captain," reported his first officer, Lisa Woods. Before Green could respond, an emergency signal came through. "The colony on Proxima Centauri is under attack," the communications officer announced. Multiple Void Reaper ships reported. Green looked at Woods. "How fast can we get there?" "Using the new drive. 4 hours. Set course immediately." The Bulwark arrived to find destruction. 3 human colony ships burned in orbit. The settlement below was mostly rubble. "Life signs?" Green asked. "Some survivors in the underground shelters," answered the sensor officer. 2 Reaper ships still in orbit. The Reapers detected the Bulwark and moved to attack. "Activate Lieutenant Wilson's combat protocol," Green ordered. Instead of forming a defensive position, the Bulwark accelerated directly toward the Reaper ships. They seemed confused by the approach, hesitating just long enough for the Bulwark to fire first. The battle was short but fierce. When it ended, 1 Reaper ship was destroyed, and the other retreated. Back on Earth, the Galactic Council representatives met with world leaders. "We do not understand," said the Centauri ambassador Nealon. "Your colony was devastated, yet you celebrate." Admiral Carter stood. "We mourn our losses deeply, but now we know the Reapers can be beaten." "At such cost," said the representative from the Jovan species. "That's what you don't understand about humans," Carter replied. "We're willing to pay costs that other species aren't." The alien representatives looked at each other uneasily. "All these years, you've been looking for someone to hide behind," Carter continued. "We're offering something different. We'll stand in front, not behind." News of the Bulwark's victory spread through the Alliance. More alien species reached out to Earth, seeking protection. Humans began to train alien crews in combat tactics. The Earth Defense Initiative expanded, and in the darkness between stars, the Void Reapers took notice of the new threat. The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as the vote ended. All 23 species had agreed. For the first time in its long history, the Council had formally requested military aid from a junior member, Earth. Captain Steve Hawkins stood at attention as Admiral Carter gave him his orders. "The Ta-Ceti system is a major trade hub for 5 species," Carter explained. "Intelligence suggests the Void Reapers will attack there next. Your fleet will defend it." Hawkins nodded. "How many ships will I have, sir?" 15 Earth vessels, plus 10 alien ships that have agreed to follow human command. "Against how many Reaper ships?" Carter's face was grim. "Estimates suggest at least 100. Hawkins didn't flinch. We'll make it work, sir. The human fleet arrived at Taw City 3 days later. Hawkins set up a command center on his ship, the U.S. Valor. Captain, all ships are in position, reported his second-in-command, Olivia Bell. Good. Now we wait. In the communications room, Officer Maria Diaz listened carefully to the space around them. She had spent months studying Void Reaper transmissions. Something's not right, she said to herself, adjusting her equipment. The patterns she was picking up didn't match previous Reaper communications. She rushed to the bridge. Captain, they're already here. The Reapers are using a new kind of cloaking technology. Before Hawkins could respond, space seemed to ripple around them as Void Reaper ships appeared from nowhere. All ships, battle positions, Hawkins ordered. They want to surround us. Don't let them. The human ships moved quickly, forming a spinning formation that kept the Reapers off balance. The alien vessels in the fleet tried to follow but struggled with the unorthodox tactics. Our ships in sectors 3 and 4 are taking heavy damage, Bell reported. The bridge shook as the Valor took a direct hit. Shields at 40%, called out the tactical officer. In engineering, Chief Peter Walsh worked frantically with his team. He had been experimenting with shield modifications based on Dr. Reeves' research. The regular shields won't hold, he told his team. We need to try the new configuration. But it hasn't been tested, one engineer protested. No time like the present, Walsh replied, making the final adjustments. Routing power now. On the bridge, Hawkins watched as 3 human ships exploded. The Reapers were pressing their advantage. Captain, engineering reports they're implementing shield modification alpha, Bell said. Tell all Earth ships to do the same if they can, Hawkins ordered. The new shields glowed with a strange blue light. Reaper weapons still hit, but did less damage. It's working, Bell said, a hint of hope in her voice. Now it's our turn, Hawkins said. Execute maneuver Gamma 7. The Earth ships suddenly broke formation, each targeting a specific Reaper vessel. The alien allies, seeing the human ships move, followed their lead. The battle raged for hours. 7 human ships and 5 alien vessels were destroyed. But the Reapers were losing more. They're retreating. Someone shouted as the remaining Reaper ships jumped away. The bridge crew cheered, but Hawkins remained solemn. They had won, but at great cost. News of the victory spread quickly through the galaxy. The Galactic Council held an emergency session. The humans fought when we could not, said the Zentari representative. They lost many lives, added the Jovan ambassador. Yet they consider this a victory, said another alien, confusion in its voice. They do not fight like us, the Zentari replied. They do not think like us, but perhaps that is what we need. Across the galaxy, species that had lived in fear began to look to Earth with new eyes, not just as allies, but as protectors. And on Earth, as they mourned their dead, plans were already being made for the next battle. Dr. Lisa Jordan stared at the piece of Void Reaper technology on her lab table. After the Battle of Taw City, Earth ships had recovered debris from destroyed Reaper vessels. What they found changed everything. This isn't just a machine, she told her team. Look at these tissue samples. Under the microscope, the metal components merged with what looked like living cells. They're not ships, said her assistant, Kevin Porter. They're some kind of living machines, or machines with living components, Jordan corrected. The question is, who built them? Far from Earth, Intelligence Officer Ben Collins slipped through the shadows of an abandoned space station. The station orbited a dead world that had been attacked by Reapers decades ago. Collins was part of a special team searching for Reaper secrets. His scanner beeped softly as he entered a damaged control room. Something was still active here. He brushed away dust from an ancient console and found a data port. This is Collins, he whispered into his communicator. I'm connecting to their system. His specialized device began extracting data. Most was corrupted, but some files remained intact. As Collins watched the download, his eyes widened. Command, "You need to see this," he said. "I found records of their creation. The Reapers weren't born. They were made." Back on Earth, Admiral Carter met with the commanders of the human fleet. The room was tense as he shared the new information. According to Officer Collins' discovery, the Void Reapers were created by an ancient species called the Precursors, Carter explained. They designed the Reapers as weapons, but something went wrong. They lost control of their own weapons. Asked Captain Ninaraeus. Exactly, Carter nodded. And now we have evidence the Reapers are preparing for something big. They're gathering near the galactic core. Lieutenant Wilson stepped forward with new tactical displays. "We've been experimenting with mixed human-alien crews," she said. "The Zentari have better sensor technology. The Juvens have faster reflexes, and we have the tactical thinking." "How effective are these mixed crews?" Carter asked. 30% more effective than either species alone," Wilson replied. As the meeting continued, a junior officer rushed in. "Admiral, we're detecting massive Void Reaper fleet movements," he reported breathlessly. "They're heading toward the galactic core." Carter studied the data, his face grave. "If they take the core, they control the major hyperspace lanes. Half the galaxy would be cut off." "We need to stop them," Captain Rice said. "But we can't just defend," Carter replied. "For once, we need to take the fight to them." The idea shocked the alien representatives present. In their cultures, direct confrontation was avoided whenever possible. "That would require a massive fleet," said the Zentari ambassador. "We would need every ship we can gather." Carter nodded. "Then that's what we'll do." As the plans developed, Dr. Jordan made another breakthrough. "Admiral, I need to show you something," she said, entering his office with new data. "We've analyzed the Reaper communication patterns. They're not just attacking randomly. They're searching for something." "What could they be looking for?" Carter asked. "We think it's related to their creators," Jordan explained. "The Precursors disappeared thousands of years ago, but what if they're coming back?" Before Carter could respond, alarms blared throughout the base. The U.S. Defiant, a scout ship under Captain Rick Harris, had returned from its mission beyond the edge of the galaxy. Its message was simple but chilling. "The Void Reapers are fleeing from something. We detected massive energy signatures moving toward our galaxy. Whatever created the Reapers is returning, and the Reapers are afraid." Carter stood at the window, looking up at the stars. Humanity had risen to defend the galaxy against the Reapers. Now they might need to defend it against something even worse. Earth had become the center of an enormous operation. Ships from 12 different alien species filled the skies above every major city. Factories that once made cars now built spacecraft parts. The entire planet focused on one goal: survival. Fleet Commander Greg Summers walked through the massive hangar at the Luna base. Around him, humans worked alongside aliens, building ships that combined technologies from across the galaxy. "How is the integration proceeding?" Summers asked his assistant. "Better than expected, sir," she replied. "The Zentari engineers have adapted well to our methods, and the Jovan pilots are learning our tactics quickly." Summers nodded. Not all species had adjusted so easily. Some found human warfare concepts difficult to accept. Others struggled with the pace humans set. But they were making progress. In a tactical room nearby, Laura Chen studied battle simulations on a large screen. As Earth's lead tactical specialist, she had developed a new strategy called Solar Hammer. "The key is synchronization," she explained to the alien officers watching. "When the Reapers attack, they expect us to scatter. Instead, we concentrate our fire on specific targets." A Zentari officer raised his hand. "But concentrating our ships makes us vulnerable." Chen smiled. "Exactly. That's why we only appear to concentrate. In reality, half our fleet will be cloaked, using Jovan technology." The aliens looked at each other. None of their species would have considered such a risky plan, but humans seemed to thrive on risk. Daily reports showed Void Reaper attacks increasing across the galaxy. Smaller worlds without protection fell quickly. Refugees flooded to systems defended by human fleets. During a high-level meeting, a communications officer burst into the room. "Commanders, we've detected a signal from beyond the galactic rim," she reported. "It's unlike anything we've seen before." Admiral Carter ordered the U.S. Defiant to investigate. Captain Rick Harris, who had discovered the Precursor's approach, was the natural choice to lead the mission. The Defiant traveled to the edge of the galaxy, its advanced sensors scanning the darkness between galaxies. What they found confirmed their fears. "This is Captain Harris reporting." His message reached Earth 3 days later. "We've confirmed that the Void Reapers are fleeing from their creators. The Precursors appear to be a highly advanced machine civilization. Their ships are larger than anything we've ever seen." Harris paused before continuing. "But there's something else. The Precursors aren't just coming to reclaim their creations. They're coming to harvest all organic life in our galaxy." The news sent shockwaves through the Alliance. Some species wanted to flee to nearby galaxies. Others suggested surrendering to the Precursors. But humanity proposed a different approach. "We fight," Admiral Carter told the Galactic Council. "We've beaten the Reapers before. We can beat their masters too." "But the Reapers were just the servants," protested an alien representative. "How can we defeat their masters?" Carter turned to Dr. Jordan, who had continued studying Reaper technology. "The Reapers have one weakness," she explained. "Their biomechanical nature makes them vulnerable to specific energy frequencies. We believe the Precursors may share this vulnerability." Earth scientists worked day and night to develop weapons based on this theory. Meanwhile, the combined fleet prepared for battle. The first test came sooner than expected. A small group of Precursor scout ships entered the galaxy, heading directly for a major trade hub. Commander Summers led the defense fleet. The new weapons worked better than anyone had hoped. 3 Precursor ships were destroyed, and the rest retreated. For the first time, the galaxy felt a spark of hope, but everyone knew this was just the beginning. On Earth, Admiral Carter received the battle report with mixed feelings. They had won this skirmish, but the main Precursor fleet was still coming. "How long do we have?" he asked Dr. Jordan. 2 months, she replied. "Maybe less." Carter nodded grimly. "Then we better make every day count." The Helios cluster glowed with the light of 1,000 stars. Once a busy center of trade, now it was empty of civilian ships. In their place, the largest fleet ever gathered in the galaxy waited in formation. Ships from 27 species formed a defensive line 5 layers deep. At the center of the human section of the fleet, the U.S. Valiant served as the command ship. Captain Amy Foster stood on the bridge, watching the tactical display with steady eyes. "All ships report ready, Captain," said her first officer. Foster nodded. "And the Reapers?" "Still approaching. Estimated time to contact, 30 minutes. Intelligence had confirmed that the main Void Reaper Armada was fleeing directly toward them, with the Precursor fleet not far behind. The plan was simple but dangerous. Stop the Reapers here, then face their creators. "Open a channel to all ships," Foster ordered. When the connection was made, she spoke clearly. "This is Captain Foster. Today we make our stand. The enemy we face was created to destroy, but we were created to build, to grow, to live. Remember what we fight for." Foster out. The Reaper fleet appeared first as small dots on the sensors, then as a dark cloud filling the view screen. There were hundreds of them, perhaps thousands. "They're not slowing down," someone reported. "Hold position," Foster commanded. The Reapers struck the Alliance line with terrible force. Ships exploded, crews died, but the line held. Then something unexpected happened. Communications between the different species began to break down. The Zentari couldn't understand the Jovan signals. The Krell ships moved in the wrong direction. "What's happening?" Foster demanded. "The Reapers are jamming interspecies communications," replied her communications officer. "Each species can only talk to their own kind now." This was disaster. The entire battle plan depended on coordination. On a smaller ship near the edge of the formation, Commander Sam Rodriguez saw the problem. "If we can't talk to each other, we'll lose," he told his crew. "We need a universal language." Rodriguez had an idea. He ordered his ship to fire weapons in specific patterns, 3 short bursts, then 1 long. Other ships noticed. Soon, human vessels were using the makeshift signal system to guide the alien ships. Flash code, Foster realized, watching from the Valiant. Like old Earth navies used. The battle raged for hours. Alliance ships fell one by one, but they took many Reapers with them. Then the sensors detected a massive Reaper vessel approaching, larger than any seen before. "That must be their command ship," Foster said. "If we destroy it, we might break their coordination." The Valiant moved to intercept, firing all weapons. The giant Reaper returned fire, tearing through the Valiant's shields. "Hull breach on decks 3 through 7, reported the damage control officer. "Engines damage. Weapons at 40% capacity." Foster knew what had to be done. Evacuate all non-essential personnel to escape pods. "Captain," her first officer questioned. "We're going to ram it," Foster said calmly. The bridge crew looked at her in shock, but no one protested. They had all seen too much death already. "Set course directly for their command center," Foster ordered. "Maximum speed." As the escape pods launched, the Valiant turned toward the massive Reaper vessel. The damaged engines pushed to their limits as the ship accelerated. Foster sent one final message to the fleet. "Remember what humans do best. We sacrifice for others." The Valiant crashed into the Reaper command ship at nearly light speed. The explosion was visible across the entire cluster. Without their command ship, the Reaper fleet fell into disarray. The Alliance pressed their advantage, destroying the confused enemy ships one by one. As the battle ended, the alien species looked at the humans with new understanding. They had known humans were willing to fight. Now they knew humans were willing to die, not just for their own kind, but for all life in the galaxy. And in the darkness beyond the galaxy's edge, the precursors continued their approach. 1 month after the Battle of Helios Cluster, representatives from every spacefaring species gathered on Earth. They signed a historic document, the Human-Led Defense Accord. For the first time, the galaxy was truly united. Admiral Nicholas Sanders took command of the largest combined fleet in history. A veteran of many battles against the Reapers, she knew the coming fight would be their hardest yet. "The precursors will reach our solar system in 3 days," she told her command staff. "According to our intelligence, their fleet is twice the size of the Reaper Armada we faced at Helios." Chief Strategist Daniel Wright stepped forward. He had developed a new defensive plan called Sword and Shield. "We've analyzed the data from our encounters with precursor scout ships," Wright explained. "They're powerful, but predictable. They don't expect resistance." Sanders nodded. "Like the Reapers, they've never faced an enemy that fights back effectively." "Exactly," Wright said. "So we divide our forces. The Shield fleet protects Earth and our core worlds. The Sword fleet hits them from behind when they commit to the attack." The alien commanders looked uncertain. "It's very aggressive," said the Zentari fleet leader. "It's very human," replied Sanders with a slight smile. As the precursor fleet entered the solar system, humanity watched the skies with a mixture of fear and determination. This was the moment that would decide the fate of all organic life in the galaxy. The Shield fleet formed a defensive sphere around Earth. Ships from 24 species flew alongside human vessels. Weapons were armed. Shields were at maximum power. Admiral Sanders watched from her command ship as the precursor fleet appeared. Their vessels were enormous, sleek machines that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "They're scanning us," reported a sensor officer. A transmission came through. The voice was flat and mechanical. "Organic life forms, your resistance is wasteful. Our created servants, the units you call Reapers, failed in their purpose. We have come to correct this error." Submit to harvesting. Sanders didn't hesitate. This is Admiral Nicole Sanders of Earth. We don't submit to threats. We don't surrender our freedom. And we certainly don't allow anyone to harvest us. She cut the transmission and gave the order. All ships, execute sword and shield. The battle began. Precursor weapons tore through the outer layers of the defense fleet. Ships exploded in silent bursts of light, but the defenders held their position, absorbing the first wave of attacks. Then, as the precursors committed more ships to the front assault, the Sword Fleet appeared from behind Jupiter's moons. They had been hiding there, cloaked by technology developed from studying the Reapers. The Sword Fleet struck hard at the precursors' rear, causing confusion in their ranks. For the first time in their long existence, the precursors faced an enemy that could outthink them. The battle raged for days. Ships from both sides were lost. Heroes emerged from every species. A Jovan captain saved 3 human vessels by blocking a precursor attack with his damaged ship. A human pilot guided a failing Zentari cruiser to safety before her own ship was destroyed. In the final hours, Sanders ordered all remaining ships to concentrate fire on the precursor command vessel. Just like the Reapers, the precursors relied on central coordination. When the precursor command ship finally exploded, the rest of their fleet retreated, jumping to faster than light speed and leaving the galaxy. The cost had been enormous. Half the defense fleet was gone. Millions had died. But billions more would live. On Earth, people celebrated not just survival, but a new era. Humans had proven themselves not through conquest, but through protection. As Admiral Sanders looked out at the stars from her damaged ship, she thought about Captain Foster and all the others who had sacrificed themselves. "We did it," she whispered. "We kept our promise." Across the galaxy, the surviving species looked to humanity with gratitude and respect. The fierce, brave newcomers had become the guardians of tomorrow for them all.